This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Like we're joined by esteemed trainer Peter Fury here at St James's Park in Newcastle. Peter, welcome to Newcastle. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to be here. What a stadium this is. Magnificent.
Busy times for you. You got Savannah Marshall and Hughie Fury in action this weekend. Let's start with Savannah. Seen it today. It's going to be her first world title defence in front of friends, family, and just a crowd in general as well. She must be raring to go.
Yeah, she's excited and she is happy to be here. She's happy to be fighting in her home city as well. It is. It's down the road, isn't it, from where she lives? So it's perfect for her. So looking forward to it.
With Savannah, she signed this deal to fight on Sky, and I spoke to her, and there was this frustration with her wanting the Claressa Shields fight that she kept being told 18 months, 2 years. How important was it as part of this deal that she got the big fight now as soon as possible?
All big fights, they take some making, so it's good that they finally come under the same promotional banner and the fight can be made. We know we're going to get this fight next year, so it's exciting times.
Exciting times indeed. She does have business to take care of on Saturday, though. We've seen it so many times when there's fights being talked about, or we're one fight away from this, and then disaster strikes. I'm sure you haven't allowed her to think too far ahead of what she can expect on Saturday night.
No, definitely not. Claressa Shields for us. I'll think about Claressa Shields when the fight's made, and she's a one away. But don't forget, we haven't just got today. She fights again in December. So it's one opponent at the time, and that's where Savannah's feet are. We're just looking Saturday. After Saturday, we'll think about the next opponent. And then after that, if it's Claressa Shields, we'll think about her. But we're not thinking about Claressa Shields at all at the minute.
With Savannah and the time you've been working with her, what has impressed you most about her as a fighter and as a person as well? And what do you think she's improved on most?
Everything, mentally, physically, grown into the sport. You name it, she's a fabulous athlete, tremendous boxer, puncher. That's what I like about Savannah. You see big punchers, they neglect everything else. They're either wide open, they go stiff, but Savannah, she's loose, she can box, she can slip shots, and she can take your lights out. So, you don't get much better. She's a full package, really.
Let's come on to Hughie. He's fighting Christian Hammer this weekend. You've, of course, been in the opposite corner to Christian Hammer before. What does he do well? What do you make of him as a fighter?
He's just a rugged, tough man, isn't he? He comes forward, he's, what you see with Christian Hammer's what you get. If he can out-tough you, he will. That's Christian Hammer. He comes forward and, he tries and gives it his all to win. So he is what he is. So, we're just looking forward to a good fight. It'll give Hughie good rounds as well. And it gives us a chance against somebody like this to see where Hughie's at, where he's improving and stuff like that, because Hammer brings it. They're looking at a guy, he's not going to sit back. He does bring it. So, what we're expecting to see from Hughie is calm under pressure, thinking, and just doing what we know he can do. That's all it is.
Hughie's still so young for a heavyweight. He's been in with so many big names as well in his professional career to date. In the last couple of years, though, he's sort of coming towards us. Peter's 27 years old now. What have you noticed in terms of his development?
Well, he's there, isn't he? Like you say, he's 27 years of age. This is it. This is his time now. And he's had some good fights. So he's just got to be sensible, relax. And he's been here before. It's like anything else. It should be now like having a cup of water for him. So he's just got to concentrate on his boxing. He's got far too many skills for probably most heavyweights out there. He's just got to relax and just perform what he can do. And that's it under the bright lights. That's it.
You mentioned there that Hammer will give him some good rounds. With all the belts all tied up for pretty much a long time right now, and a world title shot not being an option, is this just about keeping developing and boosting them world rankings and being ready when that time does come?
100%. We're looking for somebody similar stature to Hammer again in December, all being well this Saturday. We're looking for somebody who can get rounds. I'm not interested in body bags. We're not training in gyms for 8 and 10 weeks and 3 months at a time to blow somebody over. I know what he can do. I'm a fairly good analyst of what the opponents are like. And we're not interested in just looking good, for everybody to say, wow, this kid can knock people out. Anybody can knock a plum out. It's when you're knocking on fringe world level door, it's a different matter. You've got to earn that knockout. You've got to earn that fight, and you've got to earn it. Things are not gifted. My fighters, especially Hughie, they ain't been brought up with that bully mentality where they want to chin everybody and not get it back. If you want to chin somebody, earn it. Beat a good fighter. And that's what he's been facing.
Just a couple of other things. Heavyweight, I wanted to go back to Joshua Usyk. We saw Alexander Usyk capture the Unified Heavyweight Championship a few weeks ago now. What do you make of the fight? I'm sure you watched it live, Peter.
I've seen it, yeah, because it was in my time zone live. So I did watch it live, yeah. But I was very impressed with Usyk. You know, everybody's saying what Joshua didn't do, should have used his size more. You know, look, you know, Andy Ruiz, you know, he put Joshua away. Can he walk into somebody like Usyk, who's 16 stone and 6'4", and, you know, southpaw guy who can punch, especially when you're coming onto them shots? He couldn't come in like that. If he'd have come in, he probably wouldn't have even made the end bell. You know, at the end of the day, when you're looking at a guy who's seriously skilled, punches accurately, got to take somebody like that with severe credit. You know, Usyk is a very, very good fighter. He's a worthy world champion, and Joshua's got it all to do in the rematch. He has.
We know that rematch is going to happen. He's activated that rematch clause. What can and what will Anthony Joshua do differently this time around?
Well, he has got to use his natural attributes better. He's got to, you know, he's got to force the pace more. You know, and he's basically, he has got to be all over Usyk. So, you know, because you're fighting an elite boxer, aren't you? So you've got to take them boxing skills away. So, but that's up to him. He's got to bridge that gap. And, you know, he's a dedicated fighter himself. And I'm sure he won't want to slip up next time round.
And finally, Peter, before I let you go, Las Vegas last weekend, we saw one of the most dramatic heavyweight fights of recent years. Tyson Fury retained his WBC heavyweight title against Deontay Wilder. What do you make of the fight? Absolutely incredible action.
I thought he done what he had to do there, and he done it very well. You know, he took Wilder's game plans away. You know, still had the good head movement and stuff like that. Look, you're going to get wet in these type of fights. Wilder's a massive puncher, but he done what he had to do. He broke Wilder down mentally, physically, in every other regard. And, you know, he's just a better man than Wilder. Simple as that in every department. Yeah, boxed him, out-fought him, and outgunned him, so you couldn't ask for no more, could you?
Deontay Wilder was furious in the rematch that Mark Breland opted to put the towel in and end the fight right there. We saw his corner elect him to keep going, finish in devastating fashion in the 11th round. Do you think it could have been stopped a bit sooner?
Look, it's hard to say, you know. Let him fight, you know. I'm not being critical of Deontay Wilder. The man's a fighting man. He fought his heart out. But, you know, this game takes years to perfect them skills, to be loose and relaxed. You know, you can't be stiff loading up and expect to go 10 rounds. To me, Wilder was more or less done after 3. He puts everything he's got into them shots. So it's very predictable. But saying that, good heart on him, tried his very best, but he's just out of his depth there.
And last one, I promise, Peter, 'cause it's just popped back in my head. Dillian Whyte looks like he's in line for a heavyweight title shot, but he's got an obstacle first in the form of Otto Wallin. Just wanted to get your prediction for that fight. How many problems can Otto Wallin pose for Dillian Whyte?
I think he can pose plenty. Yeah, I think how tall is Otto Wallin? He's a big lump, isn't he? Yeah, big fella. Yeah. Southpaw as well. You know, training well. He's had a good win as well over Brazil. So he's not a dummy. So it's a good fight. He's not going to have all his own way with him. You know, we just don't know what's going to happen in that fight. He is the favourite to win it. You know, Dillian Whyte does hold a lot of power. I would imagine he will be able to hit Wallin, and you know, he should come through it. But it's not a walk in the park fight.
Peter Fury, I'm going to let you go. I've got a sneaky suspicion it's about to start raining. But thank you as always for speaking to Boxing Social.